The Flicks Book Club.
The Flicks
Na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Book Club.
Yeah, I'm not doing this. Welcome to Flicks Book Club. I'm Casey Aurora.
Hey, I'm Dennis Rooney.
Steve McDonald here.
And be sure to visit our website, flicksbookclub.com. There you find all our pertinent information. This week we watched Noah, the 2014 movie starring Russel Crowe and a whole slew of celebrities.
I wouldn't say a slew. I'd say like two or three.
What are you talking about? You have Anthony Hopkins, Jennifer Connelly, Emma Watson.
Emma Watson's new money. Jennifer Connelly hasn't been relevant in a long time. Anthony Hopkins is great.
Yeah, also Nick Nolte's in it too.
Anthony Hopkins is great, but his entire career now has become playing like old godlike figures.
Mm-hmm. He just walks on set.
Yeah.
That's all he does. He just plays himself. So the movie, it's the old, the biblical story of Noah, who God decides to smite the world, and Noah must save the innocent, which is the beasts and creatures and so on and so forth. Builds an ark, and it's a new take on an old story. That's the story of Noah and the ark, and they do it differently. And it's directed by Darren Aronofsky, who did The Wrestler and Requiem for a Dream. And
Black Swan.
Black Swan as well. And Pie.
A lot of great movies.
Yeah, a lot of good movies. So I'm going to have to say, for this movie, I would say, I'm going to say stream it.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, dude. I really, I liked it.
All right. Why'd you pick this movie?
Oh, why'd I pick the movie? Because it came out, and it was like, Noah, the story of Noah. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then it came out, and literally, I heard nothing else afterwards. So I was like, did it do badly? And I was like, you know what, man? I like Russell Crowe a lot. And Darren Aronofsky, I like him too. So why don't I watch this?
They both got good numbers.
Yeah, they both got good stats. So why don't I watch this movie? Therefore, I watched it.
Great stats.
And I don't regret it, man. I like the movie.
Wow. I'm totally
Dennis?
thrown off by your answer. I feel like, did we watch the same Noah movie with Russell Crowe? Did they make two versions?
Right.
This movie stank.
All right.
All right, don't stream this film.
Okay.
This movie, I don't know why it wasn't good. Probably because it was telling the story of Noah. If they had just kept everything, all the same staff, and just picked a new story to tell, it might have been a better movie. But this movie stank.
Steven?
I'm pretty sure that you decided to choose this film because you hate me.
All right.
Because I'm going to say don't stream it.
Okay, that's
and
fair
I'm
enough.
going to say that,
All right.
Not only was it long,
it was a little long.
it also had
137
a lot of other
minutes.
problems, which we'll get into.
All right, cool. So watch the movie. Don't listen to these guys, and we'll be back after.
Watch 5 minutes of the movie and then decide, like a reasonable human being, to stop streaming.
We'll be back after the break.
Let me tell you a story. The first story my father told me, and the first story that I told each of you. In the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing but the silence of an infinite darkness. But the breath of the Creator fluttered against the face of the void, whispering, "Let there be light." And light was. And it was good.
Okay. Yeah. I knew you guys were gonna dislike this movie immensely. I knew it. Like, I finished the movie and I was like, oh man, these guys are really gonna hate the movie. Like, there's a lot of things to hate.
All right, so let's start with what you like about the movie.
I would agree with you.
I agree with you too.
Okay, first of all, The Watchers.
Okay, let's start there because
real cool.
Because listen, I think I'm the only Roman Catholic at the table,
right?
And on my better days, I probably would say I ascribe to Roman Catholicism, at least to a degree.
Okay.
I don't remember hearing anything about stone golems, like
they're angels,
if destroying droves of people.
If somebody had pitched Christianity to me as being like, there's rock monsters, I would have been like, okay, I'll show up a couple times.
I'll hear
like,
some of these stories.
You better come up with some better stuff once we're there. But if you started with rock monsters, I would have been like, okay.
For those who don't know, the Watchers are basically they are fallen angels
And they fell because I'm sorry, not to interrupt you, but they helped out the humans who were kicked out of Eden.
Right, yeah. So they come to help against the Creator's wishes.
Yeah.
Creator being God. And they do that, and then when they get to Earth, they land in the ground, and they come out, and it was against the Creator's wishes, so they become these rock-like monsters.
Yeah, they were made of light, and now they're made of,
rock and mud.
Yeah.
Rocks.
Rock and mud, as they say in the movie. So that's not in the original story of Noah and the Ark.
I don't know, like it might be. There might be fallen angels, but I don't know if they were made of stones and they talked like monsters. Like,
see, the problem is this movie, you come to a point where you're just like, is this movie for children? Because it's like PG-13.
Yeah.
Is this movie for stoners? Because there's a lot of effects, a lot of special effects, and it's kind of cool. Is this movie for Christian nuts? Who knows? And then I realized, no, this movie's for me.
I hate you. I knew you were going to say that. I hate you so much. This movie's not for me because, first of all, you don't believe in the story of Noah, right?
No, not at all. It sounds completely asinine.
But before watching the movie, would you say you like the story of Noah?
No, not at all.
But you like the movie.
I like the movie, and it made me like the story of Noah.
Darren Aronofsky, you fooled at least one person out here.
First of all, I want to say a couple quick stats. The movie, budget-wise, $125 million, box office, $362. So what does that say? It made 3 times its money back, essentially.
What does that say? It means that it was released at a good time with enough publicity and it had enough special effects and a draw. It drew to a market because it was rated PG-13, where you had the Christian nuts, you had the stoners, you had the kids who wanted to see the animals. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Great effects for the stoners,
Fantastic.
like you said, right? Not enough.
Not enough
for me.
Not enough
for
you?
Yeah, I know that's probably a weird position to take, but if you're going to open the movie...
Wait, you can't jump from Roman Catholic position to stoner position.
I play all sides of the ball, baby.
You gotta pick one.
First off.
Because you're sounding a lot like a child's position.
No. Those are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I know.
Stoner and Roman Catholic, they can mix.
But these watchers, we see these stone monsters are introduced to the story very early on.
Yes.
Like 15 minutes.
Which is cool.
And which is cool. I'm still I'm very thrown off by it when I watched it, but I'm like, okay, let's see where these guys play into the movie. They're gone about an hour and something minutes in.
Yeah.
And that's really it. Even the scenes of the animals coming, not that great. You see snakes slithering, you see like bears and deer and stuff walking.
Your problem with the movie is the problem that I have with the movie, which
it doesn't lie in the fantasy realm and it doesn't lie in the Bible realm.
Oh no, it's boring.
What? Yeah, it's not.
Boring.
It's not.
It's a very boring film.
No, okay, no. The first hour and a half were
explain
really good.
No, it wasn't. Okay. I emphatically disagree. I emphatically disagree to the extent. First off, why was Russell Crowe collecting grass into a tiny cylinder at the very beginning? I was so confused.
What do you mean?
Secondly,
why were they
they're
collecting
just like
plants?
picking grass off of a hillside, and then the kid picks a flower, and he's like, "You can't do that.
You take what you need.
No one can have happiness.
No, you take what you need. That's what he said.
No, I understand.
I mean, it was
that he was
stated explicitly.
I understand what he was trying to say with the entire thing. I just was having a really hard time paying attention to the movie because everything was so slow and boring.
They took
that
the
I
grass
couldn't pay
because they
attention
needed the grass to make medicine and so on and so forth.
To make medicine? Where did you pick that up?
Where'd you pick up the medicine part?
Okay, because when Jennifer Connelly is mixing together
Hold
who
on,
plays
wait a minute,
his wife.
Wait a minute.
Plays Russell
Nama. What a sexy name that is.
When Nemo
is
putting together when Nama is putting together the plants, so it sort of lets you know that that's what they need. They needed the grass for some sort of purpose. They don't really need to elaborate as to what, but they take what they need and they needed the grass.
Elaborating on this take what you need idea.
Right, because the plant they only took
problem. I know. Big problem I had with this movie is they don't eat the animals. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure God said you have dominion over the beasts.
Right.
You can eat the beasts. I'm pretty sure he was kind of cool with that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I don't. But is he? Did God say I'm cool with you eating the animals?
I'm pretty sure they've been eating animals for a long time.
I mean,
I don't think that was in the Bible.
He didn't say. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was kind of like, we have to save all of the innocent creatures, and then he only gets 2 of each. So there is
all the innocent creatures.
I like the idea that there's only 2 innocent ones.
The rest are dirtbags.
The rest are dirtbags.
No, but hold on.
Two doves, very reasonable.
Right.
Rest of the doves, just awful.
You need an entire arc for every animal, right?
Yeah. There's a space is limited. What don't you understand?
But, okay,
no, I understand exactly what's going on.
This is the final solution.
Also, I'm going to point this out. I'm going to point this out.
Does that sound bad?
Yeah,
I'm going to point this out.
Bad.
They did the entire thing of like towards the beginning of showing an animal that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Where it's
The little
like
dog
we got
thing.
rid of some of the animals that
Right.
weren't good.
Yes.
I just wish that they had messed with that more.
Mm-hmm.
They like brought that in, and then there's no point where it's like it's like the enemy guy like riding into battle on a triceratops.
Right.
Like if you're gonna go for broke, like do it.
Yeah, but
like,
then
go
there
for
should
it.
have been. I should have seen like some
Like a
animals
unicorn?
fighting each
You
other
wanted to
for
see-
spots on the ark.
I did want to see a unicorn.
Yeah,
You wanted to
unicorn.
see, like-
he said, what's his name? Aronofsky said that he didn't use any real animals. He used all animals with a little thing weird or different
Right.
to indicate that this was the land before time.
Yeah,
But
okay.
Uh-huh.
But hold on, with this whole take what you need thing. Noah's got his family.
Mm-hmm.
They look very well fed, and they're
Right.
building an ark for years.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone around them is struggling to find food to eat. We never see them eating. What are they eating? We finally see Ham offer like some bread-looking substance to a girl.
Right.
Is that what they're living on? They're living off
Granola.
grass,
There's, like,
grass,
grains.
and
Yeah.
dude, they
What?
would have been eating meat. All right.
No, they would. They had a strict vegetarian diet. I mean, clearly they were living off the land because of that. At one point, Noah is given a seed from his father, played by Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
I forgot it. Methuselah. Methuselah, his grandfather, gives him a seed, puts it in the ground, and water sprouts from the dry and barren land. Therefore, now trees have grown, and they can begin to build the ark, and the Watchers help them build the ark.
Yeah.
But through the trees, I'm sure berries and grains. These are small details.
We don't see that. No, these are big details.
They're not.
These are
There's-
very important.
Do you really
There's-
need to see your
There's
characters
definitely-
eating? Are
there's
you guys
definitely
like dumb?
berries.
I need to see the food resource resolved. The berries were such a hard thing that, like a crackhead, Methuselah, he knows the storm's coming.
Right.
He's just clawing around the grass to find one berry,
Yeah.
and he's not. I don't buy that. I don't buy that everything sprouts up and that they're living off berries that we don't see. Because when they go to the island later on, they see a full thing of grapes, and it's like, wow, look what we have now that we didn't have in that last place. There was a food shortage, and they were building an ark, and they had tons of strength, and that's ridiculous.
The rock monsters were there to help them.
I know they were doing the bulk of the work, but
Right.
still, they were still cutting stuff and doing. They were working.
They don't distinctly state that there's a food shortage problem.
They never did.
They do state that, like, I like the fun thing to me is that essentially what the movie is, like, one of the themes of the movie is that it's like industrialization breeds like awful human beings who need to be wiped off the face of the earth, because that's what happens. They generate an industrialized nation after they get rid of the angel rock monsters.
Right.
And
How did they get rid of
I
too?
cannot
Like,
take myself seriously.
the
when I
dirt is
say these
blacker, so
things.
they don't leave that part.
Well, that was
where's
the
that coming
dad.
from?
That was Noah's dad with the flaming sword,
Right.
shoving it into the ground, and
That created like the barricade. I thought that was
it's
just
not a
him fighting
barricade.
them.
It's just there's
scorched the
he
earth.
Scorched the earth,
Right. Which
And
was
so
a
it was
tactic.
like up to that like place, and then it was like, well, the rock monsters live beyond that spot, and they'll kill you. Was
Yeah.
the attitude.
But why couldn't the rock monsters move past that part?
What do you mean?
they could? But the humans wanted to kill the rock monsters.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is their like way to kind of get away from that, and it created a barrier.
Very murky.
I
This
would
is
like
a
to
very
take
murky
I would like to
story.
take a moment and point out just how dumb
Yeah.
this whole conversation we're having is. That's what I'm getting at. It's just like, that's my problem with this movie, is that there's just like a consistent end where I'm just like, I have moments where I look at it and I'm like I look at somebody like Noah and I'm like just smile.
Right.
Like, just why is everything so bad for you?
The movie
Just consistently, just like he's in this like consistent, penitent, and this is like my problem. I mean, honestly,
He's
at the
got
end
the
of the
weight
day,
of the world
this is my
on his
problem
shoulders,
with
Steven.
Christianity. No, before the weight of the world ends up on his shoulders,
he sees
got the-
visions at night, dude.
No, he doesn't. Not at the very beginning of the movie. At the very beginning of the movie,
He's got his family.
No, he's
They
got
have
his
to
family,
survive.
and they have to survive.
Right.
I'm
going
to take an opposing viewpoint.
Wouldn't that
person
stress
who
you
happens
out?
who happens to also be an amazing fighter for no reason.
Yeah.
Because sometimes these circumstances arise where you're going to have to learn how to fight.
I can give him the the fighting
understand.
thing. I can give him the fighting thing because it's back in the day. He has to defend himself to anyone who comes across his path. But why can't he smile? I think this guy should be in tears the entire time.
Yeah.
Anyone who lived around that time and didn't kill themselves, it amazes me.
Bad maybe they just out there.
I love that Dennis's entire thing is literally just the moment of like, it's like if you watch a movie from the 50s and you're like, everybody must have just been sweaty all the time. Is that his thing is that he's just like, yeah, I lived on the ground. You had to do this. You had to find food.
People are
Why would you want to live?
Literally 10 generations old, but they seem to have these great leather outfits. This guy knows how to build an ark. There's no Listen, what was that movie, the sequel to Bruce Almighty, where Steve Carell has to build the ark?
Evan Almighty.
That was more logical to me than this movie. Noah just knows how to build an ark. He takes giant tree trunks.
The rock monsters helped him.
I don't know.
You can't just throw rock monsters at all the problems with the movie.
I'm just going to go with this. I don't know how well he was able to build it. I don't know how well he was able to build an ark because that was a box. that was a box.
There you go. That
was not an ark.
That was more logical. No. An ark is more like just a vessel, like just something to be filled. Yeah. I know that the classic idea of the ark is it's like a ship, but it's not. It's just supposed to float. That's it.
Yeah, so they kind of...
not supposed to be able to steer it, not supposed to be doing anything else.
They did something better than what the Bible had done when it's like not an ark, but it's actual box, and it makes sense.
Yeah, great. It's a little... They finally went for realism on the shape of the boat that they...
Right. And
they lasted through God's flood with.
A little credibility is dude. You know, the thing is, the guy who co-wrote it with Aronofsky, Ari Handel, they went to Harvard together. Darren Aronofsky and Ari.
Unimpressed.
And they went to Harvard, and they've been... they worked... It's weird. The interesting to me part is this, is that Ari wrote The Fountain, which is a movie that him and Darren Aronofsky did, and that movie cost $35 million to make and only made $15 million. So he took a chance to come back with his boy and make Noah.
No, Noah was the sure bet, I feel like.
No, and it was. The movie, it made 3 times as much.
That's what I mean. It was a sure bet.
It's a good movie.
He said, we'll make a PG-13 movie that we can release in IMAX in 3D.
Right.
The kids will come to see it. The parents will come to see it. Both sides of the ball are going to come to see it because you're going to see Catholics come to see it to show their kids, like, look, the story of Noah.
See, this is my thing is I don't feel like, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but this does not feel like the kind of thing where, like, after The Fountain, which was like a very interesting movie.
That movie was terrible.
Really cool. I thought it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a very interesting director who picks very interesting projects.
Right. He did Requiem for a Dream.
And I just don't think that Darren Aronofsky got done with his last movie and went, you know what I want to do? Noah. I feel like what happened was that a studio executive went, you know what you should do? Noah. And he was like, ugh. And then they were like, we'll let you pick the writer. And he was like, can I pick my buddy who wrote The Fountain? Because at least he'll do a reasonable job with it the way I want to make Noah. And they were like, how much does he cost? Not a lot? Sure. That's just
$125 million to make a movie. That's a huge budget.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
I don't know.
In Hollywood money, it's not, and in Hollywood risk, it's really not. A $35 million movie to Hollywood is a massive risk because they don't know how much money they're really going to make with it. With something this big, they made this movie because they understood that they were going to make a ton of money because the Christian market is huge.
But it's also a good movie.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
The one cool thing about the story that I do like is this: they're building the ark, and then the descendants of Cain come through, and it says this guy who's the king, and he's like, listen, I'm gonna get on this ark one way or the other, and then they go.
If you don't respond to my dozens now, I'll come back with a legion.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's a bad line, and it's really hardcore. I thought
it's a good line. I mean, but like there's not a lot of good lines. The rest of the dialogue in this film is really boring.
It's the vision, man. It's the vision. What you see is what's really incredible about it.
No, I understand.
It's a visual movie. The dialogue sucks. The story is boring.
The story it's a tale as old as time.
Song as old as
rhyme?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is my problem with it is that essentially the story of Noah is the story of like an allegory for people are bad.
Right.
Like people are bad.
No, and it's that you should love each other.
No, what?
And that's the
At
story.
what point? No, because Noah spends the entire movie up until the last 5 minutes thinking that the whole reason he's doing all of this is that so human beings don't exist ever.
Well, here's the thing.
And then he realizes that the love in his heart is the thing he cannot, when he saw, this is what art. So after the ark, starts
You know,
floating.
it doesn't end happy for Noah. Noah's failed at the end, and he acknowledges this, and he's not
Yeah.
happy with himself. He outcasts himself away from his family.
Let's get back to the plot itself. So after the ark, they're not in they end up get the ark going. The rain comes in, everyone's washed away, so on and so forth. There's one of the king gets on the boat. They get rid of him at some point,
which is so dumb too. He hacks his way with like a hatchet into the ark that's supposed to save the animals. This thing is supposed to be a huge, hard to get into box. He hacks his way in somehow.
Right.
And then he stows aboard for 9 months.
Right.
Gaining strength.
Right.
To fight, which is also, they just added that, right? Is that in the original story?
No.
I don't think so, right?
And he ate a couple animals, which to me,
he ate a bunch of animals.
I thought was a good opportunity to show which animals were not going to make it. Like, what if a unicorn made it on there, but he just ate one? You know what I mean?
I would have been more okay with that if they had like a unicorn and he's just like going to town on it. Like that would have made me really happy.
He's picking his teeth with the horn.
That would have been great. He's wearing it like as a nose.
No.
What? The horn.
Why is he wearing it?
He's got string now, and he's strapped it around his head. He's trying to make friends with Ham. Hey, Ham, come here. Look at this.
Yeah, look what I did. Look what I got going on back here.
Ham's like, no one's going to notice you keep killing these animals.
Which I want to know what he ate for 9 months. He ate for
more snakes, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
It's like
I do love that they decided to do the very movie thing of wouldn't all of the animals eat each other if they were on the ark? And they were like, no.
We gassed them.
We gassed them.
I hated
which
that.
Put them out.
We
gassed them one time, which put them out for months.
Because considering Emma Watson's character is able to have a baby in that time, that's 9 months. They gassed these animals for 9 months.
Yeah.
There's no animal on Earth that ever sleeps that long. I think polar bears at max do 4. So 9 months of. By the way,
grizzly bears. You're thinking grizzly bears.
No, also polar. But it's like you would be ruined. You'd be wrecked.
For the record, I want the audience to know that Steven is still looking incredulously like he's not sure if polar bears fall into that.
Yeah, they do.
I had a problem with that though, man. I used to go to mass, and the guy would come walking down the aisle with the ball on the swing,
ball and chain,
with the smoke coming out. And hey, I wanted to fall asleep too, but I don't believe that's going to work on a 900-pound grizzly bear.
I'm not gonna lie. I had a moment where I was watching the movie, and the guy was they're like walking through the aisles of birds or whatever, swinging things. Which, by the way, like they really they did not do a good job of showing how many animals were in that ark.
Yeah, they did.
It was like there's snakes, there's birds, big beasts, animals, and and they're like beasts, big animalish things.
Where are the lizards?
The lizards came with the snakes.
The lizards came with the snakes.
Okay, yeah,
but what they didn't show was like, hey, we're putting people to sleep. Like, where's the part where they have to hold the herbs that are burning in front of an elephant for like 20 minutes because it's a huge animal and they need to put it out?
You guys are focused. You're nitpicking.
They hold the sparrow. They hold the sparrow over the smoke, and he's like, "See, this is how we're gonna put the animals to sleep." And then he's just doing the ball, and they walk through. Hey, here's another question. How come they don't fall asleep?
I thought that also.
Okay, that part I guess is a small plot hole, but the rest of the movie seems
plot hole.
All
the animals on the ark is a plot hole.
It seems to hold up relatively well. You guys are really nitpicking. That's what it comes down to.
Here's my thesis. I mean, I'm nitpicking because if all these things were fixed, it might have added up to a better story. But I think this movie was flawed from the beginning because it was essentially, especially with those stone monsters, that was so reminiscent of the trees in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, which I think really made it cool.
Which is 8 years old now. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, those movies are old now. This movie felt like a fantasy movie with a biblical basis. Okay?
Yes, that's what it is, though.
They should have just made a fantasy movie.
They never said they never said God. They said the Creator.
Which is synonymous with
God. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's certain things like that.
Uh-huh.
Not using real animals. That's another aspect. You got to realize it's a fictitious sci-fi story based off of the biblical story. So if you watch it like that and you keep an open mind
and an open heart,
maybe you guys would have enjoyed the movie a little more.
If you keep an open mind and an open heart, the God will shine His light upon you, and you will be
the Creator.
I
want to talk about
picking the movie. I want to punch you in the face. Once you're punched in the face,
it was
for the things you've said on the podcast, I want to kick you.
I got 362 million reasons as to why it's a good movie. It got a 77 on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, I'm not one to Nick Nolte's in it. I mean, good God, it's a good cast. I don't know what else to tell you.
Nick Nolte plays the voice of one of the stone monsters,
right?
And I think his big
I was literally
probably
about to
12
say,
lines.
Who is Nick Nolte in this?
Probably like 12 lines. Let's talk about the kids though. Let's talk about Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Besides having horrible names, I would want to be washed away if I was named Ham.
Yeah,
no wonder Ham was upset. He's the middle child,
right?
Okay, his name's Ham.
Yeah.
He can't even eat the stuff,
right?
And he's got no woman. And when and his dad goes, let's talk about that because. Here's
you know Japheth might be gay because he doesn't complain about having a.
Japheth doesn't say a word. That's because
he doesn't have a.
Japheth hasn't masturbated yet, so he's like, "Why would I want a wife? I don't care."
He's like, "Hey, there's no wife for Japheth," and Japheth is like knitting, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't care."
Japheth's looking at Ham like, "I'm just gonna hang out with you."
I definitely had a moment where when I think it's Japheth when he goes to see the grandpa.
Yeah.
With his dad, when he goes to see Methuselah, and Methuselah's like, "What's your favorite thing?" Like,
yeah,
what is your
I was
favorite
like,
thing?
this is so early on.
No, and I literally had a moment in my head where I was just like, "Say masturbation, please."
It's
like,
Shem. It's Shem who goes to see Methuselah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep any of their names straight
Japheth
because all of them just.
So Japheth literally had nothing in this movie for him, like no part in this movie.
Very little.
Okay,
he had
hold
no
on.
happiness, and then he had a girl, and then Noah left her because
no, that's Ham, not Japheth.
Who are all of these people?
Shem is the oldest.
Shem is the oldest.
Ham is the middle child.
Japheth is the youngest. Japheth is a baby when he goes to see Methuselah, so therefore he's not able to really participate until later on.
Which one got to make out with Emma Watson?
Shem.
Okay. Well, he was lucky.
Right.
Yeah, he was lucky.
She did a great job in this movie.
So the character Noah, he has two visions primarily.
Right.
He has one of the ark where he sees the body swimming, and then he sees the ark above him while he's in the water, and he knows then to build the ark.
Right.
And from that, he extracts a great flood is coming, and I'm going to build an ark to save the innocent.
Right.
And he has another fantasy where when he goes into the nearest village to try and find a wife for the two youngest ones, Shem and Japheth.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, Ham and Japheth.
Ham and Japheth.
And he sees a fawn being thrown to this crowd of people because they're starving. Two women are traded for a fawn, and they just throw the fawn at the crowd. Actually,
they're traded for a piece of meat. The fawn is thrown once the gate's broken as a way to quell the crowd.
Okay, as a way to quell the crowd.
Right.
And which they tear apart, and then Russel Crowe, Noah, sees himself as another person biting into the thing and growling.
Right.
And then he runs away. And from that he decides, my kids don't need wives. That's you're extracting a lot of meaning from these visions.
Right.
Noah. You know what I mean? Like from that vision he decides that God doesn't want mankind to continue on. Because that's what it is. He's going to get wives because he does want humans to continue.
Yeah.
But then he has that vision and that's what changes him. Why? That's a lot of extrapolation.
See, the thing is that he's given a vision. And I think this is what's really cool about the movie.
That might have just been nerves. That might not have been a vision. Last vision was he was sleeping. It was a whole thing.
Right, it was
there
a production.
Was the possibility that when he was a kid, he had some fawn at some point. He was like, that was delicious when I was a child. And then he was vegetarian forever, and then he saw them ripping apart, and he was like, I want some of that. That looks amazing.
But it's. I think this is what it is. He sees visions. He's got a couple visions. And then the rest of it is for him to interpret. That he interprets that the Creator doesn't want humanity to go on, and in the end he's wrong.
Right.
So it's really
he becomes an anti-hero. Noah starts the movie as a hero, then he becomes like almost a villain.
Yes, almost.
And then he's not. I wouldn't even say he returns to being a hero. He's a guy who's failed for what he set out to do. At least
he's a man. And he has his flaws, and that's the point. And also with the visions, he makes his interpretation. And then he turns out, in some aspects, in a lot of aspects, he's correct. And a lot of aspects, he's wrong. Just like man. And that's the point of it. That's the point that they're trying to make you take away from that, is that we make these assumptions and interpretations from the Bible or whatever religious thing we're part of. And then at some points, we're right. But then some points, we're wrong. And then we have to accept it. And he does accept it when Emma Watson tells him, listen, God wanted life to go on. If not, I wouldn't have had these kids. If not, I wouldn't have been able to go from being barren to having twin daughters in a place that was primarily dominated by men. So that's the thing. What makes the story so good and so interesting is because it makes you understand that.
It's not working for me, man. It's not working for me.
well, no,
Man,
I
can't
go
help
with
the
this.
fallen. You guys are just obviously children of Cain.
No,
I can't help. I can't help you guys out.
Look, okay.
I'm one of Seth's kids.
Okay, Casey, just
what's up?
I understand what you mean.
Right.
And I understand what I'm taking away from it is that men make mistakes.
Right.
Okay? And sometimes they say stream the movie. And they're wrong.
Damn you, Steven.
They're
love
wrong.
you for your
and you made a mistake in telling people to stream the movie.
That was cool. I didn't see it coming.
And
well put.
I think that we'll
forgive me?
We'll forgive you.
Much like Emma Watson forgive Noah.
Yes.
I can't believe this avoided being a dud. I can't believe it.
I'm so
I
happy.
thought you were gonna come in hat in hand, apologize.
That was what I thought.
Listen, there are a lot of parts of the movie that are long. There are a lot of parts that are kind of boring. That part after and I get that, but overall, I think it's a good movie.
I had a moment where the water came in and it hit the thing and it lifted up the boat, and I looked at the time that was left and I was like, how is there an hour left to this movie?
Yeah, that's where it became.
What are you doing?
They could have cut out 45 minutes.
No, they could have cut out like 20 minutes of the beginning,
right?
And then they could have cut out like another 30 minutes of the end.
I'll disagree with that. Here's the thing, because I've spent 30 minutes trashing the movie, I want to say what I liked about it, because I did think it'd do some stuff right. And Aronofsky knows how to direct the hell out of a film.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But like I said, the story was flawed from the start. I don't think they could have afforded to cut anything out from the beginning or the end, because there were things I liked all over the place. There were moments of horror, like when they tore apart the fawn, and also when you see a mountain of humans. You just see a mountain of bodies, and you hear the screams after the rain has fallen. And it's like, there's the not innocent being washed away by God's, water.
Yeah.
I liked that. I liked it. As usual, I liked it in its most darkest moments.
Right.
But it shouldn't have been PG-13. If you're going to put stone monsters in it, don't stop there. Let's see demons. Let's see angels duking it out. Let's see God. I don't know. Let's see some craziness.
I mean, there was the angels were the light. They were angels of light.
I agree with that.
And the quick cuts. They showed there was two things: when the history of the world, and they showed like the birth of animals and them coming out of the water. All that stuff was cool.
There was a lot of really interesting stuff in the movie. I think that the cinematography is the one thing I took away as being like the cinematographer on this movie just was good.
Right.
Like, it was great cinematography.
I mean, when they're doing the whole evolution of man, that they kind of slide in there and they kind of jump from monkeys.
Yeah, they stop at monkeys. The screen goes by. I see you.
Yeah, and it's like, yo, that was pretty dope. That was pretty
solid.
It
would have been doper if the monkeys turned into humans. The monkeys fades to white, and then humans are there.
And then humans are glowing gold beings.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's just not enough.
I'm not going to try to convince you guys. I understand that. Let's wrap it up. If there's some technical difficulty on the episode, we had some small tech issues, but nevertheless, it should be solid. Be sure to check out Flicks Book Club. I know I'm going to get to what we got to get to. FlicksBookClub.com. We have our Twitter. Let us know what you thought. I really want to know what people thought about this movie. I thought it was a really cool movie.
You're sticking with streaming, huh?
I'm sticking with streaming.
I'm
not even going to bother asking you guys. I know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm skipping over that part.
What do we got for next week?
What do we have for next week? Steven, it's your pick.
Next week is going to be Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
I'm excited. I was going to pick that, and now I don't have to. I've never seen it either.
I've seen it. It's great.
Okay, all right, cool. So
how did you know that we hadn't seen it? We'll get to you next time. Make sure you check out the website. Did we? All right.
FlicksBookClub.com. Everyone say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.